Okay, gather round, folks. I've got a story for you today that's going to make you think, make you wonder, and maybe even make you reevaluate everything you thought you knew about success. We're talking about someone who, at just 21 years old, was crowned the youngest self-made billionaire in history by Forbes. But here's the kicker. Was she really self-made? Or is that just a carefully crafted narrative? Stick around, because we're about to dive deep into the fascinating, often controversial, and undeniably impressive journey of Kylie Jenner. You might think you know her from reality TV, but trust me, there's so much more to this story. And before we get into it, if you're enjoying these deep dives into the lives of extraordinary people, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what we've got coming next. Alright, so let's set the stage. When you hear Kylie Jenner, what comes to mind? Probably a certain reality TV show, right? Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kylie was born into a world that was already, shall we say, illuminated. Her parents are Caitlyn Jenner, a former Olympic champion, and Kris Jenner, the ultimate momager. From a very young age, basically her entire life, Kylie has lived under the bright, sometimes harsh glare of the public eye. She grew up on camera, literally. The show premiered in 2007 when she was just 9 years old. So, unlike most of us who fumbled through our awkward teenage years in relative anonymity, Kylie's was broadcast to millions. You saw her grow up, you saw her family dynamics, her friendships, her relationships. This wasn't some quiet, humble beginning in a small town. This was Hollywood. Lights, camera, action. From day one. Now some might say, well, that's not exactly a struggle, is it? And you're right, in the traditional sense of starting from nothing. She wasn't scrambling to pay rent or figuring out where her next meal would come from. She had resources, opportunities, and a platform that most aspiring entrepreneurs could only dream of. But here's the thing about growing up in that kind of spotlight. It comes with its own unique set of pressures and challenges. Imagine every insecurity, every mistake, every awkward phase being scrutinized by millions. It's a different kind of struggle for sure. Even with all the advantages, Kylie's path wasn't entirely smooth sailing. In the early days of her career, beyond the reality show, she and her sister Kendall ventured into fashion with their PacSun line. It was a decent success, but it wasn't a phenomenon. And Kylie herself faced a lot of public scrutiny, particularly about her appearance. Remember all the talk about her lips? Oh man, that was a whole thing. She was constantly questioned, analyzed, and frankly, criticized for her looks, which, let's be honest, can be incredibly tough on anyone, let alone a teenager growing up in the public eye. She denied getting fillers for a long time, claiming she just overlined her lips. This period where her lips became such a focal point of public discussion and even sparked a ridiculous Kylie Jenner challenge. Please, nobody try that at home. Ironically laid the groundwork for her biggest breakthrough. And it wasn't just external pressures. When Kylie Cosmetics first launched, they faced real growing pains. Remember the early complaints about product quality? Or the issues with customer service and shipping? There were legitimate concerns from customers. It wasn't just, oh, it's Kylie, it must be perfect. She had to address those issues head on. And that's a struggle any new business faces, famous or not. Rebuilding trust when you're already under a microscope? That's a high-stakes game. And let's not forget, as much as she had a platform, turning fame into a sustainable, massively profitable business isn't a given. Plenty of famous people launch products that fizzle out. So how did a teenager who was mostly known for being a reality TV star and, her lips, suddenly become a beauty mogul? This is where it gets good. The turning point, the absolute game changer, was the launch of Kylie Lip Kits in November 2015. Think about it. The very thing she was criticized for, her lips, became the inspiration for her first product. That's genius, isn't it? She took a perceived vulnerability, something that had garnered massive attention, and turned it into her unique selling proposition. She harnessed the public's fascination. She said, "You want to know about my lips? Here's how you can get them." And she didn't just launch a few lipsticks, she launched kits, liquid lipstick and a matching lip liner. This was smart. It offered a complete look. And the timing? Perfection. Social media, especially Instagram and Snapchat, were exploding. Kylie, already a master of these platforms from her years on TV, used them like no one else. She wasn't just posting ads, she was giving behind-the-scenes glimpses, doing swatches, interacting directly with her fans, creating a FOMO, fear of missing out, frenzy. The initial drop of 15,000 lip kits sold out in minutes. Minutes. She invested $250,000 of her own modeling money into that first run, and it paid off immediately. That wasn't just luck. That was a combination of incredible market awareness, leveraging her personal brand, and a product that hit at precisely the right moment. That initial sellout wasn't just a win, it was the signal that she was onto something massive, something disruptive. It showed that she understood her audience, their desires, and how to communicate with them directly, cutting out traditional marketing avenues. From those initial lip kits, Kylie Cosmetics exploded. It wasn't just a flash in the pan. She expanded rapidly, adding eyeshadows, blushes, highlighters, and then, in 2019, Kylie Skin. Her business model was incredibly lean and agile. She outsourced manufacturing and fulfillment, keeping her overhead low. Her marketing? Well, that was largely herself. Her Instagram account, with hundreds of millions of followers, became her primary advertising channel. She was essentially her own media company. What makes her empire unique? It's the ultimate direct-to-consumer model powered by personal branding. Other celebrities had beauty lines, but Kylie took it to an unprecedented level. She wasn't just endorsing products, she was the product. Her lifestyle, her aesthetic, her entire persona became synonymous with the brand. It was aspirational yet accessible. And here's a surprising fact: for a long time, Kylie Cosmetics had a remarkably small team. We're talking less than a dozen employees, when it was already doing hundreds of millions in sales. Think about that for a second. That's efficiency on an insane level, made possible by leveraging technology and, of course, her immense social media reach. In 2018, the game changed again when she landed a deal with Ulta Beauty, bringing her products into physical retail stores. This expanded her reach even further, tapping into a customer base that might not be exclusively online. Then in 2019, the big news hit: Coty Inc., one of the world's largest beauty companies, acquired a 51% stake in Kylie Cosmetics for a staggering $600 million. That deal valued her company at $1.2 billion. Whether you agree with the self-made label or not, that's real money, folks. That's a serious business accomplishment. Now you can't talk about Kylie Jenner's journey without addressing the elephant in the room: the self-made billionaire controversy. In 2019, Forbes famously declared her the youngest self-made billionaire, sparking a massive debate. Critics argued that being born into one of the most famous families in the world, with access to unparalleled connections and a ready-made audience, doesn't exactly fit the traditional definition of self-made. They pointed out that she had a massive head start compared to someone who truly built something from the ground up, without any initial advantages. And then in 2020, Forbes walked back that claim, accusing her of potentially inflating figures and forging tax documents to appear wealthier. That was a huge blow to her narrative, a serious PR challenge. They essentially said, oops, maybe not a billionaire, and maybe not quite so self-made either. This controversy really highlights a core tension in her story. How much credit does she get for her incredible success, and how much is due to the unique circumstances of her birth and family? It's a valid question, and one that continues to fuel debate. There have also been smaller controversies, like accusations of copying other brands, designs, or even issues with product packaging. Being constantly in the public eye means every single move, every misstep is magnified and dissected. So what can we, the average folks, learn from Kylie Jenner's journey, controversies and all? First, leverage your unique advantage. For Kylie, it was her platform and her family's fame. For you, it might be your specific skills, your network, or a niche understanding of a particular market. Don't shy away from what makes you different. Embrace it and figure out how to monetize it. Second, understand your audience intimately. Kylie knew exactly what her followers wanted, a piece of her aspirational lifestyle, specifically her lips. She gave them what they desired, packaged it beautifully, and made it accessible. Do you truly know what your customers are craving? Third, master direct communication and community building. Her use of social media wasn't just about pretty pictures, it was about fostering a direct, personal connection with her fans. She created a community around her brand. In today's world, that direct line to your customer is incredibly powerful. Fourth, turn perceived weaknesses into strengths. Remember the lip controversy? She spun that narrative into the very foundation of her empire. What criticisms or perceived flaws do you have that, with a shift in perspective, could become your unique selling proposition? Fifth, stay agile and expand strategically. She started with lip kits, then went to a full cosmetics line, then skincare. She didn't just stick to one product, she understood how to grow her brand horizontally, always staying true to her core identity. And finally, whether you call her self-made or famous-made, there's no denying the girl put in the work. It wasn't just sitting back and collecting checks. She was actively involved in product development, marketing, and the overall vision. That kind of dedication, regardless of where you start, is essential for massive success. Kylie Jenner's story is a modern-day fable about fame, fortune, and the shifting definitions of success. Was she born on third base? Absolutely. Did she hit a grand slam anyway? You bet she did. Her journey forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about privilege, hard work, and what it truly means to build an empire in the digital age. She leveraged a unique starting point to create something truly massive, something that changed the beauty industry forever. And whether you're a fan or a critic, you can't deny the impact. So what do you think? Is Kylie Jenner a self-made billionaire? Or is her story a testament to the power of platform and strategic positioning? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, we're dropping new videos every single day at 7 p.m. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. Until next time, keep dreaming big and building bigger.